Welcome everybody to our first meeting for the month of March. I believe last meeting was the end of February. I hope everybody's having a great start to their month. We are going to quickly talk and go through a few slides about our community and open it up for questions. So if you do have any questions, let's hold them off until the end, and definitely want to encourage everyone to queue up some questions afterwards. Quick introduction. My name is Bobby Dorlis, and I am the founder and CEO of the Tech Hustle community, Tech Hustle podcast, Tech Hustle newsletter, and a few other properties that we have around the Tech Hustle. I am an engineer. I've been at the keyboard for more than 20 plus years, recently wrapping up a lengthy career working for a really cool social media company called Twitter as a staff SRE. If you're not familiar with SREs, it's someone that is familiar with systems, more or less systems engineering, but also software engineering. And the skill set is really focusing on ensuring the reliability of the services that we're managing or the site overall. Definitely open to have more conversations about site reliability engineers, and definitely want to encourage everyone to level up on these skill sets around engineering, because I believe there's a few roles that everyone can excel in. We just got to open up our minds into what opportunities we have. So quickly, what is the Tech Hustle and who are we? The Tech Hustle's mission is to transform the landscape of technology through community, empowerment, and education. We strive to be the compass that guides underrepresented tech professionals to their North Star in the industry, and overall giving an opportunity for you to be highlighted on your brilliance. It is run by myself and my two crew members. That's D Hustle. He is our COO. And then we have Raymond, don't call him Ray, which is our tech fellow. There will be an opportunity for questions at the end, and I probably need to move this slide around a little bit later, but sorry about that. Now, one of the cool things about joining our community is access to a few of our technical resources, especially in our premium side of the house. I'll talk a little bit about our premium services and also share out a link for you all that are interested in to fill out a questionnaire and more or less apply for your access to the premium side of the house. But overall, our services is really around, or actually our area of focus are really around technical proficiencies around IT fundamentals, getting you prepared for technical interviewing, but more specifically down in the crux, let's say learning Linux as an operating system and Linux administration, which is very useful and supportive for skills around DevOps engineering, cloud engineering, but also software engineers should have some Linux administration skills. We also have courses and content around cloud administration. If you're not familiar with the cloud or you haven't heard about the cloud, this is definitely an area that I want to encourage you to level up on. The services that we mostly focus on are AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, GCP, which is Google Cloud Platform, and Microsoft's Azure. All three of those platforms are well known in our industry, and definitely want to encourage you, if you're interested in sharing, to check out the course content that we have there. And then the last course content that we're really proud of is around Python, the easy way, developing your software engineering skills around Python, but also opening it up for you to learn other programming languages, because some of the cohorts, or actually some of the master classes that we have, some of our cohorts are specialized in multiple programming languages, but Python we have definitely found out to be a little bit more easier to grasp and definitely pick up and going. My most proficient programming language is Python. That's just for anybody that's asking. The reason why I like Python is that it's very phonic in the way it's written. You don't have to worry about semicolons and curly braces. And more or less, there's a lot of libraries that you can do just about anything. And I'm really interested in AI as of late, and most of the tools and functionality that I need to implement are written in Python, and there's a library that I could use. So what does the community look like? The Tech Hustle community is a diverse community that we are really working towards uplifting and motivating the next generation, like I mentioned in our mission statement, but also holding and conducting local meetups and meet people face to face of where they're at. This is currently our first few iterations of the Tech Hustle, where most of our content will be online based, and definitely want to encourage everyone, especially if you're in the Atlanta area at the end of March, to reach out to us and let us know, because we will be pulling up for the NESB conference and also for the Atlanta Cloud Conference that's happening between March 20th through the 24th. And we definitely want to hold some space, just like this image shows here. We will be traveling the country, visiting other locations, and those dates will be posted and announced in this weekly meeting as such. But definitely, if you're not already on our school platform, definitely join our free school platform so you can let us know where you're coming from and maybe we can run into you while we're out in these streets. Now, if you haven't already, and this is more or less the last slide that I have in my deck, join our school community. I want to quickly pull it up for you real quick and talk to you about what and where our community really hangs out at. So our community is an online-based community. As I mentioned to you, we are looking to move to localize and visit people around the country, but we definitely want to create our home and base here on this platform called School. If you do check out our website, which we've actually been having a few edits to our website, so definitely check it out because it has some new updates to it. But on our website, if you go to our website, you'll see an opportunity for you to join the community via this link here. And also, if you're looking for the premium community membership, you'll find the link there. We do have some updates to these links in terms of courses that we'll have and workshops, technical skill assessments. That's still work in progress. And also, if you have already subscribed to our newsletter, which I'll put that link there. But I'm going to talk about our school community real quick and definitely give everyone an opportunity to check it out. The links are on our website, so definitely look around and definitely get familiarized with it. Now, on our school platform, as I mentioned, this is our centralized place for communication. You'll see that it's more or less like a message board type setting, almost like a little bit of Facebook groups, but definitely have an extra twist to it. Big shout outs to one of our main community managers or members, D Hustle. He's our COO here at the Tech Hustle, and he always has some words for inspiration. So definitely check out his posts and subscribe, get connected, create an account so that you can get updated on not just motivational things, but some technical things. Also included in our school community is an AI. So we've enabled an AI bot. Her name is Jules AI. And her main role is to assist anyone in our community with sharing knowledge and ultimately definitely boosting the vibe up for supporting you as you're on your endeavor. Jules runs probably twice a week, very specialized AI that we're building in an open source space. And definitely I'll talk a little bit about open source, but her main role is to drop some really cool nuggets about technology that you all may be interested in and or technology that you should be interested in. So I would definitely encourage you to check out our school for Jules' weekly post that she'll post. And this week she talked about, one second, please. My office space is really close to a train station, so sometimes you might get that in the background, so I do apologize. This week she posted about the difference between a RESTful API and GraphQL. If you're not familiar with the two, definitely check them out. RESTful API is definitely something that's been running our environments for a long time. She even provided some wiki links there for you to dive a little bit deeper. But GraphQL is the new kid on the block, and I believe Meta actually developed this. So Facebook developed GraphQL, and it has some pros and cons. So definitely take a look at what you posted there. And if I scroll down just a little bit more, let me see what she posted the other week before. Something about Linux boot process and illustration. So very, very active AI bot, and definitely want to encourage everyone to follow along. So the next thing about school that I just want to encourage everybody to check out are the classrooms we have here. We do have classrooms that are going to be restricted based on the levelings and the levels you're on. If you have received or gotten access to a certain level and you want some more details around these projects specifically, please reach out to our team. We do kind of limit the content we put out here because we want to make it more engaging. So if you are ready for technical interviewing, once you get to level 2 and or IT fundamentals, which I believe has more content than everything else, definitely let us know that you're interested in it. And then we'll put you in the pipeline to sign up for some of our cohorts that we have and potential master classes that goes in more details. The next tab is our calendar tab, which you'll see today's calendar. As you follow along, you'll notice that we'll be publishing more events, and definitely want to big ups to everybody that showed up today. Members, if you want to find out who's our members of the team or here at this community, definitely take a look. We have a few new members. We've got someone that's recently with a Security Plus, someone that really enjoys the dedicated code. This is actually one of my mentees, Asia Taylor, a software engineer. And I believe she actually works at Microsoft, so that's really cool. We're getting some people to join our community from really high-end companies. But definitely check out our members and then the leaderboard. Big shout outs to our leaderboard. Now, the question is, how do you get leveled up with the levels and also get on our leaderboard? If you click this little question box here, you'll notice that it does give you some details of how do you get points. And TLDR, basically the lowdown is the more active you are in the community, the more engaging you are, the more points you actually get. So I definitely want to encourage you all to check out our pointing systems. And definitely when you get shouted out or when you get leveled up, we'll definitely shout out, big shout out to Brandon, who's leading the board for the past week or so. So definitely check out a few things, post, like comments, and definitely you'll be leveling up. And then the last tab is our About page. This is where you can just find out more details about what this community offers. And definitely this is like the first landing page a lot of people that are interested in our community will land at. And check out the Loom here. The Loom definitely goes into more details about our community and wanted to uplift and motivate everybody. All right. The next thing that I want to bring up is our newsletter. The Tech Hustle runs a monthly newsletter that's published on Substack. You can definitely find a newsletter from our main page, our main the Tech Hustle page by clicking on subscribing to our newsletter here at the bottom right-hand side. And you'll be ported over to Substack where you'll be easily able to just register your email address. And the main thing that I want to encourage everybody to check out our newsletter. This is where some of our oldest content is here. We've been running Tech Hustle for more than 2 years. And in general, if you want to check out some of the earlier works that we've done, earlier podcast recordings we've done, and definitely if you want to meet the team, this would probably be one of the best posts for you to check out, which goes into details about every member of the team here at the Tech Hustle and give you some more insights. The last thing that I did want to mention is our podcast. If I scroll down just a little bit more on our page here, you notice that we do run a podcast, a weekly podcast that you can play right here from our main page. But also we're on YouTube. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. YouTube/The Tech Hustle. We will have an episode published later this week, either today or later tomorrow. But in general, from YouTube, you can get our video portion of our podcast, and you'll notice we post our last podcast is published here. We don't have any advertisements enabled, so don't feel like you have to sit through some advertising. But definitely come and check out the conversation between myself and the two other members. That's D Hustle there in the middle, and then Raymond, don't call him Ray on the other side. Definitely a really cool vibe, and I want to encourage everyone to subscribe, listen in, and tell your friends about us because we're trying to up our subscribers. Right now, we only have 18 subscribers, but hey, we're just getting started, and definitely we'll be at the top sooner than you know. All right, so those are the main three mediums we have, school community being number one, the Tech Hustle podcast being number two, because we publish on a weekly basis, and then the Tech Hustle newsletter, which we publish on a monthly basis. And definitely want to let you know that we're here to support you, either in the school community. If you want to chat with us, send us an email directly, and definitely want to open up this opportunity for questions. I'm going to go back a few slides real quick just to get to the question section here. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand, turn on your mic, say hi. That is the end of our presentation. If there isn't any questions, I'm going to just sit here and talk a little bit of tech because there's been some big tech news that's happened this last few weeks, and definitely want to open up for collaboration. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to turn on your mic, raise your hand, and or drop it in the chat room if you prefer that. And we are recording these sessions so that we can post them in our school platform for other people that were not able to attend. That's why if you've been here before, you might hear me regurgitating some of the same information again. It's not to more or less have it be challenging for you to sit through, but definitely want to make it available for our newest that will get some insights into what's going on. All right, go ahead, Billy. You have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Hello,
go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I'm having a little pain point right now. As far as like right now, I spent like last week working. I was looking through your literature for shell scripting. I was getting myself familiarized back with Bash, I'm
Sure.
having like a little point because I'm kind of jumping around. I kind of feel like right now I kind of have that feeling where I'm not kind of like I'm not finishing anything
Yeah,
like right now
for
because
sure, for sure.
and
And
so
why do you
like
feel
right
that way?
now I'm looking in the sense kind of like far as like sometimes you gauge yourself too with like projects and stuff like that, but it's just like I haven't it's kind of like one of those things like I haven't used the command line in a long time or for a particular purpose. And it's just like I'm working on my front end or I'm spending time working on my C. I'm trying to rebuild my skills and stuff like that, where it's just like I want to be able to have a certain amount of knowledge in each area so I could be
Yeah,
well versed enough where I could touch a particular area if I need to go and I need to do it for learning purposes or for professional purposes right now.
for sure.
You know,
Now, in terms of the content that you've seen out on our GitHub, you said that you were going through it, but there was just still some stuff that you're missing, or you more or less are looking for potential like use cases for the content that you're learning about.
yeah, like kind of like mock because what I've been trying to do is like I went I did the command line on Linux Learning, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm start working on Red Hat and stuff like that as far as certification. But I went through that. I went through that as far as getting refamiliarized with that, working out the terminal on my Mac. And what I've been trying to do is I was trying to piece things together so I could have like activities where I could write a script in C or I could write a script in shell script or bouncing around so that way I could find use for it so I could kind of do some automation because I went through I took like a couple of days and I went through the first learning directory and I was gonna take a
Mm-hmm.
break and work before I went into the next one as far as the one that was
Yeah,
a little bit more linked.
yeah. So yeah, the Linux one is definitely going to be the more lengthier one. Idea that you're talking about, which I'm taking some notes here right now around creating some mock like use case for the content that you're learning. Like it could start off with something simple as, hey, create a directory structure that looks like this, right? And or it can go as far as taking that same directory structure and then writing like a sed or an awk statement or a script that does X, Y, Z. Is That's definitely something that I feel we can add to the content here. And definitely want to encourage you to, let us know whenever you feel like that, especially with some of the material you're reading and also walking through, is if there are any voids. Does that sound something interesting to you? Like if I come up with at least a few exercises that covers that type of mock use case for the content you're reading. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense because it's kind of like because like you're knowing like working with grep and things of that type of nature and the piping and stuff like that when you're writing or when you're doing your commands and stuff like that and having a test case scenario like you were saying where you could work through it so you can actually see the interaction in the command line when you're actually running your script because
Yeah.
like when you're using Chrome and stuff like that to gain user access and then you get user permission or whatever when you're working through the group and others and stuff like that. Just like stuff like that because like it's like it's like the aspect of whatever the practical sense where you're knowing the commands, but like far as the complexity where you use the simplistic commands and you could use complex tasks.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things that we do not publish out in the open source directory are exercises that we have for each of these directories here. That is
Mhm.
in a more private repository that's kind of like in our quote unquote master class. But what I think would really just help give us a better gauge in terms of this content is opening that up a little bit more. Maybe not giving it all away for free, but definitely giving access to like you being one of our first few members of our community, so that you can really just hone in that skill set. So just to give you an example, so I'm looking here at this directory structure called 02 Navigating File System. In our private repository, there's another directory that says courses that we have. And under those courses are exercises. And each of those exercises break down each of these bullet points here from basic commands all the way to working within a file directory structure. So what I'll do is I wrote a note down. I'll definitely post something on school about this because I definitely want to make sure that other people in the community get some value out of your experience so far. And then publish in there once I have it updated inside of our GitHub repository. And obviously, do that it's a Git. All you would have to do is recheck out the repository, do a Git fetch, and basically update your Git, localize, and then you'll be able to get that new content that I think could help close this loop. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that works for me. Thank you.
Awesome. And big shout outs to you also, Billy. Like I said, you're one of our day ones. So we really do appreciate your feedback. And in terms of where we're going next with some of our premium community services, I definitely want to make sure I send you a message on the side to let you know all of that is accessible to you because we really do appreciate your feedback and you are very much active and holding us honest to this community that we're building. So big ups to you and definitely thanks a lot. My second question to you, Billy, is you are in Atlanta. I think we may have mentioned to you this last time. You're in Atlanta, right?
Yes, I'm in Atlanta.
Yeah. Are you going to be around March 20th through the 24th, something during those time frames?
Oh yes, I'm wide open right now. I'm seeking unemployment, so I'll just sit up here. I just work on my stuff every day. But
Roger that. Yeah, I will follow up about that. But in terms of the 2024th, I'll have Darwin reach out to you, let you know our agenda, where we're going to be at and what we're going to be doing. And we definitely want to run into you while we're out there. So again, we really do appreciate you being an active member of our community. We will be reaching out to see if we can make something happen while we're out there in Atlanta during that time frame. Now, the other question that I want to inquire about is you said that you are in between, opportunities right now. Is how is that going for you in terms of looking for new opportunities, applying for jobs, or are you just doing more skills development right now?
Well, it's kind of like one of those things where like I'm that guy where like a question, one question is answered and it's always going to lead to another question. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna because my whole thing like far as like no matter what job I'm doing, if I don't enjoy my job, it's never gonna be fulfilling no matter how much money I have or money I get. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
one of those things where I'm sitting down and I'm studying and I'm looking at stuff and I get curious where I'm studying one thing and it leads to another question, needs another question. So it's kind of like one of those things where I'm sitting there and I'm thinking and I feel like I don't know enough for me fulfilling where like we had that conversation when I was talking to you privately and
Yeah.
like it's an under evaluation of your skills
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the most part because you're going to be biased to a certain extent whether
Correct.
you may think you know a lot or you may think you may not know enough. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
one of those things where I'll spend time working like I spent this past week working on my C programming. And then like today I went back to working with Fetch AI API and I'm like building a Pokedex right now. So
Oh, that's what's
I
up.
just
That's what's
kind of
up.
just and over the weekend I worked on my shell scripting, I was working on my Linux and stuff like that. And I think I set up like until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and I was just going through all the Linux commands and stuff like that and working through the
Yeah.
terminal.
That definitely sounds like you're enjoying yourself. But one thing that I do want to encourage you to do, especially if you're working on some cool stuff like you're mentioning, is post it inside the school community so that you can get, myself and other members of the community to support you, especially if you're working on an open source project or if you're, developing a specific skill around Linux or something like that. If you do run into any challenges or difficulties understanding or comprehending something, please just post it in the school community. And that's what we're here for, to support you on that. Because I don't want you to feel like you're on this journey by yourself. And back to some conversations that you and I have is I definitely want you to appreciate yourself in terms of where you're at in your journey. And I think that as you're getting more accustomed to us in this community, you're going to open up even more, and then you're going to eventually find out like how your skill sets, in my opinion, just from the outside, are already at the level where you're ready to start to apply it for certain type of jobs and roles. There is a course that we have here in the school around technical interviewing and technical interview prep. Like I said, I don't open it all the way up for members of the free community, but this is something that I want to definitely offer to you so that you can get yourself ready to start getting in the pipeline. Because I feel like, especially with the type of projects you're working on, the time commitment that you're making, you may already be ready and you don't even know. And that's the cool part about being a part of a community like this is that myself, the Hustle, Darwin, and Raymond, we've been in the industry for so long that we can recognize certain skills that you bring to the table and say, hey, Billy, you're ready to start applying for X job or that job. So definitely want to let you know this is something that's available to you. Just hit me up and let me know when you're ready to dive into the technical interviewing handbook side of the house. But yeah, big ups to you and where you're at in your journey right now. And please, inside of school, and I believe you're one of our people, one of only a few people that have done introductions. So I know you know how to use the platform. Here goes the introduction here. Is just to throw in there and let us know what you're working on. So us as a community, we can, support you and not seem like you're out here by yourself. And that's what the Tech Hustle is really all about, is to support you. Does that work for you?
Because I had like one question that I was pondering on my mind that I just kept thinking about, and I was wavering, which I should have just went ahead and posted it, which I'm most likely gonna post it today, because it was a question about assembly language. And I was because I had you guys right there. That's the funny part about it, because I had you guys right there, and I wanted to get you guys' opinion of it as far as learning, as far as currently right now, just for memory manipulation and stuff like that. If it was worth that time to learn it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you an opinion real quick, and definitely want to encourage you to drop in school so that other people that don't get a chance to listen to this call can kind of get this feedback, because I will definitely draft something and reply back to it. But I will say that whenever I hear engineers talking about low-level languages like assembly, my first question is what are you doing and why do you want to go that low? You did say something about memory management, so that definitely does apply. My only concern is that depending on the skill set that you're going to be using this for, a role and responsibility, I've mostly seen and heard people learning assembly to do really low level things like hardware development at that level, not only hardware level, but embedded operating systems. So when I think of embedded operating systems, I'm thinking about some Internet of Thing device that someone's creating, and they want more or less kernel be stripped away. We don't want all of the features that are in kernel. And actually, we want the code base that we're working on written at the lowest language or lowest level being something like assembly. So that's those type of roles. So like hardware engineering, development in terms of embedded languages or embedded devices. But if you're talking about more high up in the stack, like abstracted stuff like APIs or let's say all the way in front end JavaScript and React type stuff, then yeah, your assembly might be a little too low to be diving. But if you are interested in those lower level concepts, I would definitely encourage you. I just think that, so sorry about that.
Yeah, because like
go ahead, Billy.
Because like because like the reason why I started out doing the front end stuff too, because I wanted, because I how should I put this? Because I wanted, because like the reason why I started out doing the front end, working on my front end first, was because logically working with different programming languages and stuff like that during the backend aspect, and then looking at the different stacks that you're going to build as far as data for database stuff like that, I went with the front end because sometimes it takes so much time. It takes so much time styling and building stuff as far as with the user interface and stuff like that. Whereas like you go back and you work on your you work on the logic, and the logic is just logic at the end of the day. It's just what's the features and what's the specifications for that particular programming language.
Exactly. And this is like even my personal opinion about front end is I always feel like front end is a place where there's too many chefs for one pot, because I'll design something and then someone else will look at it and be like, hey, actually, I want that button to flip upside down. And I'm like, yo, you know how long it took me to design or write code to it for it to do that? So you are right in terms of front end being a very opinionated platform. It is a medium for very artistic people to get their ideas out in codifying form. I'm not somebody that's artistic like that. I don't even know how to put outfit together, or I'm okay with wearing two different socks. But if that's something that's really your skill set and something that you're passionate about, I always encourage you to learn those skill sets. But me personally, I'm more of a logic, a process bound, X, Y, Z, all the way down, like 1, 2, 3 step execution and or building backend systems that run at scale in terms of like internet scale. Those are things that are more intriguing to me. And if there's any advice that I can give you, especially in this medium where other people are going to come and listen to this afterwards, is the spectrum of what you could do in the field of engineering and technology is so broad. We're talking about front end, and then we're talking about assembly. Like those are two totally broad spectrums, like range wise. And I guess what I'm thinking about is like a timeline, like one end of the timeline all the way to the other end of the timeline, is to really just start to narrow in into what you, what is your most passion or what area you want to focus in. And I believe there was this advice that you and I had a chance to elaborate on, or at least need to talk to you, Billy, was using job descriptions to be kind of like a blueprint on what skills you need to develop, right? So if I go look at a job description at a company, let's say NVIDIA, and they're looking for hardware engineers that can write it from assembly to Python, guess what? I want to go learn assembly and also be really proficient in Python. But let's say that I go apply for a startup company that's looking for, this job description being a software engineer for an API, RESTful API. Like, it's like, all right, I'm not going to dabble in assembly, maybe on my free time, maybe on a little side project. But for now, I'm really going to focus in either on Python or Java that can provide that skill set for me to be proficient for that specific job set. So that would be one thing I want to reiterate for everyone that's listening in, and definitely you and I have already talked about it, so you already got this game, is to really hone that in, because the spectrum is too broad. And personally, I wouldn't advise anybody to learn as much as I even learned becoming an engineer. I would say, hey, if there's a specific lane that you want to become a subject matter expert, this is the opportunity for you to dial it up, and then become the subject matter expert for assembly, and how everything works, all the way up to the operating system, and then that's it. And then that's when you go start looking for job and opportunities that apply to it, rather than pivoting to another skill set before you get a chance to work in that field. So that would be my advice, not just for the conversation that you're giving us now, Billy, but just anybody that's tuning in.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Roger that. Some really good stuff, Billy. Thank you so much for being a very active member in our community. And the last thing I'll say, throw it in school, and we'll definitely be ready to reply back to you and give you some more feedback as you're going. So we are coming. Say it again.
Appreciate the direction. Thank you.
Roger that. Roger that. That's what we're here for. We're here to support each other, because I know eventually, as much as we give to this community, the community will pay us back. So definitely appreciate you too. So that's about it that we have on our clock in terms of conversation today. I see D Hustle's in the room. D Hustle, you have any words you want to drop on us for this weekly team call?
No, not at all. Thanks, Billy, for some of those questions. It's not Woo Wednesday today, but it is Thursday. So
my bad. That's why D Hustle's holding down all the operations here. He's keeping me on the right dates and all that stuff. We do appreciate you. All right. Well, I do want to say thank you everybody for tuning in, coming through for this week's session. Like I said, we'll be posting this recording on our school platform. And definitely, you know where to find us at. Check us out on YouTube, our podcast, our newsletter. And yeah, we're here to support you. So you have a great rest of your day. And I look forward to our chat next week. All right.
Thank you all.